Tata Motors kind of revolutionized the modern CNG segment when it introduced its dual-cylinder technology because it offered customers something that they were craving for, that is a usable boot space. And when the company decided to bring that technology to its best-selling car, it was bound to happen that the convenience too followed. Well, you guessed it right, this right here is the new Tata Nexon iCNG. And it too gets that dual-cylinder technology, which is why I am able to sit here. Well, what's important here is that this is the country's first turbo petrol car to come with a factory-fitted CNG kit. Well, how is it to drive? What all extra features do you get? And most importantly, should you be considering it? Well, I'll answer all that in this video. But if you are new to the channel, do subscribe to Car and Bike. And while you're at it, hit that bell notification as well, so you never miss an update from us. Now, when you see the exterior, you will be hard-bound to find any visual differentiation compared to a regular Nexon. In fact, the only visual change here is the addition of the iCNG badge on the tailgate and those CNG stickers that you get on the windshields. Apart from that, nothing has changed, including the fact that this gets the LED headlamps, the LED DRLs, and these nice set of dual-tone alloy wheels. But there is one key feature that no other Nexon gets, in fact, no other CNG car in India gets, and that is offered in this Nexon iCNG. Well, let's go inside and find out. Yes, the Nexon iCNG comes with a panoramic sunroof, which no other Nexon at the moment gets. But there is another feature that you do not get in any other top-of-the-line Nexon car that you get here, and that is this. Well, I won't call this a cup holder by any standard measure, but it is a usable space, at least for your key fobs, which was not the case in any other top-of-the-line Nexon. At least I can keep my phone on this charging pad, and this key fob now has a place in the car. Apart from that, the rest of the features are identical to the regular Nexon. You still get a 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system, which is loaded with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and all the other connectivity features that you get in a regular Nexon. You do get a fully digital instrument cluster as well, which all that connectivity, all that information that you get, including proper trip meter and two different fuel gauges, one for the petrol and one for the CNG. And yes, you also get ventilation function for the driver and co-driver.
However, you do miss out on certain features like a subwoofer, cruise control and driving modes.
Now, coming to that sizable boot space I spoke about at the start of this video, the Nexon iCNG gives you a boot capacity of 321 liters. Yes, there is a parcel tray as well, but for this reference, I have removed that because we have our long-term Nexon with me, and at the moment, this doesn't have a parcel tray. And you can see that I have managed to fit in 3 cabin-sized luggages along with 2 laptop bags here. And we'll be seeing whether we can fit the same luggage in this car as well. Now, for all practical purposes, the difference of those 61 liters doesn't make a huge difference here. But if you do add that parcel tray again, then you will not be able to fit at least one of these cabin luggages. But that is not a huge problem. And despite that, you have a flat floor, and that makes loading the luggage easier. But now, as we have the Nexon iCNG loaded, let's get behind the wheel and find out how is it to drive. Now, one of the good things about Tata's CNG cars is that it starts on CNG instead of petrol. So you have the starter button here, and instead of a regular tactile button here, you have the CNG button as part of this capacitive screen with all the other in-car functions. So let's get going. Now, under that hood is a 1.2 liter turbocharged petrol engine, and it is the same 3-cylinder motor that you get in the regular Nexon. So yes, this is India's first turbocharged petrol car to come with a company fitted CNG kit, and that is something, right? Now, coming to the performance bit here, there is a slight reduction in power, yes, about 20 brake horsepower, because this makes about 98 brake horsepower, and the regular turbocharged petrol engine of the Nexon makes 118 brake horsepower. There is slight difference in where the power comes in as well. The peak output on the Nexon iCNG comes in at 5500 rpm compared to the 5000 rpm mark on the regular petrol. As for the torque, there is no change in number because both these cars make the same 170 Newton meter of peak torque. However, like the power output here too, the torque kicks in a bit late at around 2000 rpm instead of 1750 rpm in the regular Nexon petrol. Now, on paper, what that means is that the power and torque kick in a bit late, but when you drive it, you don't really feel that because it's barely any different. In fact, the Nexon iCNG has a nice pickup, and I quite like it. You only get a manual version here with a 6-speed, that too. In the regular petrol Nexon, the base model gets a 5-speed manual gearbox. Here, all variants get the 6-speed option. Now, this is a decent gearbox. Yes, it is slightly clunky. That is a problem that we have had with almost all Tata manual cars. But the shifts are not bad. Yes, it could have been smoother, but it does slot in nicely. Now, yes, there is a slight difference in the top end performance as well because the torque tops out here at about 3000 rpm, whereas in the regular petrol Nexon that goes up to 4000 rpm. So yes, you might find that the top end performance is slightly lesser here, but in most use cases you will be driving this car in the range of anywhere between 2000 to 3000 rpm, and in that rev band it is quite nice and it is quite similar. And in fact, one thing I could say that it doesn't feel like a CNG car, and that is something that is really important for me. Now, there are certain features that go missing in this Nexon iCNG compared to a regular Nexon, and one of them is a drive selector knob. Yes, you do not get those 3 drive modes like City, Eco and Sport, and instead of that you get this hole on the center console that I don't want to call this a cup holder, but yes, you get that here. Another thing that goes missing is a cruise control. Yes, this is the top of the line Nexon iCNG, but you do not get a cruise control here, and that could be an issue for a few, but I do not think that that is a deal breaker by any means. Although you do not get an AMT option at the moment, there is only a manual on offer, but I think that Tata might bring in an AMT option too in the future. We have this Nexon iCNG only for a short duration, so we couldn't do a proper fuel run. However, the company claims that this can give you 24 kilometers per kg of mileage, and that is a decent number. In fact, that is quite a nice number because in comparison, the petrol version is claimed to offer about 17.4 kilometers to the liter. So yes, you do get a nice bump here for almost the same level of performance. Now, in terms of capacity, those 2 tanks in the boot can fill up to 9 kgs of gas, and that is an average figure in most CNG cars in India right now. As for how the car performs on the road, you do feel a slight difference in the ride quality, and that is mainly because of that added weight due to the CNG tanks. It does feel heavier and it is noticeable. Well, you do get used to it, but yes, the ride quality is nice. It takes on all the undulations on the road quite nicely, and even the handling too is quite good. It does feel stable and quite planted even at higher speeds, and that has been the Nexon's plus point always.
Nexon iCNG is offered in 4 personas, namely Smart, Pure, Creative and Fearless, and these are further categorized into 8 variants. Prices start at around 9 lakh rupees and go up to around 15 lakh rupees. All are ex-showroom prices. Now, compared to the regular Nexon petrol manual, the iCNG variants are a bit more expensive by around 1 lakh rupees at the bottom of the variant lineup, while the top of the line variant is 1,30,000 rupees more expensive than the Fearless Plus S variant of the regular Nexon petrol.
With Tata's growing focus on CNG cars, it was bound to happen that the Nexon 2 got that CNG technology, and the company has done a fine job at it. It performs well, the features are good, and on paper, the mileage too is pretty good for a CNG car. Now, what I expect Tata to bring to the table is probably an automatic or an AMT version of the Nexon's iCNG, because even the smaller cars like the Tiago and Tigor CNG get an AMT option. So that would make it a complete package. Yes, the price difference between the regular Nexon petrol and this Nexon iCNG might seem a bit steep, especially when you consider that the top of the line variant misses out on certain features like cruise control or even driving modes. But I think there will be many takers for this Nexon iCNG, and you do let us know in the comments if some of these features are a deal breaker for you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And while you're at it, do subscribe to Car and Bike if you are new to the channel. And if you have any comments or suggestions for us, put them down below. And for more such content, keep following Car and Bike.